Pontiac. This was the brand that turned General Motors into a performance company. Founded in 1926 as a companion mark to the older Oakland Motor Car Company, Pontiac quickly outsold its parent and became a full GM division by 1931. Its defining moment arrived in 1964, when engineer John DeLorean and his team dropped a 4-liter 389 cubic inch V8, producing 325 to 348 horsepower into the small Tempest chassis, and called the option package the Guido, an Italian acronym for Gran Turismo Omologato. The Guido became widely recognized as the first true American muscle car, kicking off the horsepower wars of the 1960s and giving Pontiac a peak of nearly 1 million vehicles sold in 1968, roughly 17% of GM's total US sales. The Firebird Trans Am followed and starred as the star of Smokey and the Bandit in 1977 and as Kit in the 1980s television series Knight Rider. By the late 2000s, however, Pontiac had become a division that GM was losing roughly $1 billion a year on. On 27 April 2009, in the middle of GM's Chapter 11 bankruptcy restructuring, General Motors announced Pontiac would be phased out. The consequence was regulatory. The final Pontiac, a white G6 sedan, rolled off the Orion assembly line in January 2010, and the brand's dealer agreements were officially terminated on 31 October 2010, ending 84 years of American performance history. Across the Atlantic, another revolutionary brand was already collapsing. Saab was founded in 1937 in Trollhättan, Sweden, as Svenska Aeroplan Aktiebolaget, an aircraft manufacturer built to supply the Swedish Air Force during the pre-war rearmament. When wartime demand ended in 1945, 16 aircraft engineers began designing a car, and the result, unveiled in June 1947 and put into production in 1949, was the Saab 92, a teardrop-shaped front-wheel drive sedan with a drag coefficient of 0.32, engineered in a wind tunnel decades before its rivals. Saab spent the following half-century pioneering turbocharging, in-cabin ignition switches between the seats, factory-installed seatbelts by 1958, and heated seats. General Motors bought 50% of Saab Automobile AB in 1989, and the remaining 50% in 2000. But under GM ownership, Saab began sharing platforms with Opel and lost the engineering independence that had defined it. In February 2010, GM sold Saab to Dutch supercar builder Spyker Cars for $74 million in cash plus $320 million in preferred shares. The consequence arrived quickly. When Spyker attempted to secure emergency funding from Chinese carmaker Youngman, GM blocked the deal to protect its licensed technology, and on 19 December 2011, Saab Automobile AB filed for bankruptcy with $500 million in assets against $2 billion in debt, closing a 64-year-long chapter in Swedish industry. In a different corner of the industry entirely, one American brand had already failed for the second time within a single decade. The DeLorean Motor Company was founded on 24 October 1975 by John Z. DeLorean, the very same engineer who had built the Pontiac Guido, after he became the youngest division head in GM history and then walked away from the company at the peak of his career. His single production car, the DeLorean DMC-12, was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro of Ital Design. Wore brushed unpainted stainless steel body panels over a fiberglass underbody and carried a rear-mounted 2.85-litre PAR V6, producing just 130 horsepower. Its gullowing doors and cryogenically treated torsion bars became its signature. The first car rolled off the production line at DMC's factory in Dunmurry, Northern Ireland on 21 January 1981, priced at $25,000, roughly $89,000 in today's money. Approximately 9,000 cars were built. But sales collapsed as the US entered recession. Half the inventory sat unsold by February 1982, and on 19 October 1982, John DeLorean was arrested by the FBI in a videotaped sting operation and charged with agreeing to bankroll a cocaine trafficking scheme to save his company. DMC filed for bankruptcy exactly 1 week later, on 26 October 1982. The consequence arrived in 1985, 3 years after DMC's collapse, when Universal Pictures released Back to the Future and turned the DeLorean into the most recognized failed car in history. Turning back to the 1930s brings us to a company that never had a chance against the Great Depression. Duesenberg was founded in Indianapolis in 1920 by German-born brothers Fred and August Duesenberg, engineers whose racing cars had won the 1921 French Grand Prix, the first American car ever to win a European Grand Prix, and the Indianapolis 500 in 1922, 1924, 1925, and 1927. In 1926, transportation magnate Erich Lobencord bought Duesenberg and commissioned Fred to build the finest motorcar the world had ever seen. The result was the Model J, unveiled on 1 December 1928 at the New York Auto Show, the day before the New York Stock Exchange peaked. Its 6.9-liter dual overhead cam straight 8 produced 265 horsepower, and the supercharged SJ variant introduced in May 1932 pushed that to 320 horsepower, with a claimed top speed of 130 miles per hour. Bare chassis alone cost $8,500, and fully coach-built cars often exceeded $20,000, at a time when a Ford Model A cost $385. Owners included Clark Gable, Greta Garbo, Al Capone, and King Alfonso X of Spain. Fred Duesenberg died of pneumonia in July 1932 after a car accident on the Lincoln Highway. The consequence for the brand was terminal. Of the 481 Model Js ever built, sales collapsed as the Depression deepened, and the Duesenberg factory closed permanently in 1937. It was the only American luxury automaker of the Depression era to go bankrupt without any government intervention whatsoever. Meanwhile, over at Chrysler, another founding brand was quietly being erased. Plymouth was launched on 7 July 1928 at Madison Square Garden as Walter P. Chrysler's low-price answer to Ford and Chevrolet, offering hydraulic brakes as standard when the competition still did not. Plymouth carried Chrysler through the Great Depression as one of the low-price three in America, then delivered muscle car icons including the Barracuda and the Roadrunner in the 1960s. Peak production reached 973,000 cars for the 1973 model year. By the 1990s, however, Plymouth had been reduced to badge-engineered versions of Dodge cars sold at Chrysler dealerships, and the retro-styled Prowler Roadster of 1997 became one of its final unique models. When Daimler-Benz merged with Chrysler in 1998, the new Daimler-Chrysler leadership announced on 3 November 1999 that Plymouth would be phased out. The consequence came on 28 June 2001. The final Plymouth vehicle, a second-generation Neon, was assembled at the Belvidere assembly plant in Illinois. The Prowler was rebadged as a Chrysler. The Voyager minivan was absorbed into Chrysler, and the PT Cruiser, originally planned as a Plymouth, launched under the Chrysler badge instead, ending 73 years of American low-price motoring. 6 months after Chrysler killed Plymouth's parent brand's oldest rival, they had already killed another. American Motors Corporation, universally known as AMC, was formed in 1954 through the merger of Nash Kelvinator and Hudson Motor Car Company, creating the largest corporate merger in American history at the time. AMC bought Kaiser Jeep in 1970, becoming the parent company of the Jeep brand, then developed the compact Jeep Cherokee XJ in 1984, which is widely credited as launching the modern sport utility vehicle market. The 1979 AMC Eagle, a four-wheel drive station wagon based on the Concorde sedan, is now considered the first true crossover SUV ever built. Renault took a controlling stake in AMC in 1979 to keep the company alive. On 9 March 1987, Chrysler agreed to buy AMC from Renault for approximately $1.5 billion, primarily to gain Jeep and the Grand Cherokee ZR that was then under development. The consequence was immediate. AMC became the Jeep Eagle division of Chrysler on 25 August 1988, The last AMC Eagle station wagon rolled off the line on 14 December 1987, and the AMC nameplate was retired forever, ending 33 years of the last major independent American automaker. At the same time as AMC was being absorbed, another storied brand on the opposite side of the world was still going strong. Holden was founded in 1856 in Adelaide, South Australia, as a saddlery business by British immigrant James Alexander Holden. By 1914, the company was building motorcar bodies, and in 1931, it became a General Motors subsidiary called General Motors Holdens Ltd. In 1948, Holden launched the first mass-produced Australian car, the 48215, known nationally as the FX, and became so embedded in Australian identity that GM's advertising jingle "Football, Meat Pies, Kangaroos and Holden Cars" was known to a generation of Australians. The Holden Commodore, launched in 1978 and rear drive with V6 and V8 engines throughout its life, remained Australia's best-selling car for decades and won the Bathurst 1000 endurance race 20 times between 1950 and 2000. Holden produced nearly 7.7 million vehicles across its history. The consequence, however, arrived when GM decided the Australian dollar and production costs no longer justified the country's small domestic market. On 20 October 2017, the last Australian-manufactured Commodore rolled off the line at the Elizabeth plant in South Australia, ending 69 years of local car manufacturing. On 17 February 2020, General Motors announced the Holden brand would be retired entirely by 2021, closing 164 years of Australian industrial history in a single press release. At the edge of the story, however, sits one brand that never really got started. The Tucker Corporation was founded in July 1946 by former salesman Preston Tucker in a converted wartime Dodge aircraft engine plant on Chicago's South Side, one of the largest factory buildings in the world at the time. His single model, the Tucker 48, originally called the Tucker Torpedo, was engineered as the safest and most advanced car in America. It carried a rear-mounted 4-liter air-cooled flat-six engine, derived from a Franklin helicopter power plant and producing 166 horsepower, driving through a modified Cord 810 pre-select gearbox. Its features included a central Cyclops Eye third headlight that turned with the steering at angles greater than 10 degrees, a padded dashboard, a pop-out laminated safety windshield, doors cut into the roofline for easier entry, and a padded compartment ahead of the front passenger designed to protect occupants in a crash. Only 51 cars were completed, including the prototype, between the summer of 1948 and early 1949. On 3 March 1949, the Securities and Exchange Commission forced Tucker to halt production while investigating alleged stock fraud. And although Preston Tucker was fully acquitted of all charges in January 1950, the company never resumed operations. The consequence has been immortality. 47 of the 51 Tuckers still survive today, each valued at $1.8 million or more, and Preston Tucker's story became the 1988 Francis Ford Coppola film Tucker, The Man and His Dream, cementing the shortest-lived American car company as one of the most remembered.